in, everyone, to the HurricaneKaz podcast. I'm your host, Caleb Peng, and we are on episode 187. I'm joined by PvP Josh and Twastell. No HurricaneKaz today. She is under the weather, unfortunately. I must have got her sick. I'm sorry, Kaz.
Nice one, man.
Yeah. Gave her a digital virus.
Man, if you can get her sick through podcast recording, I might have to quit this podcast.
Hey, Caleb, you can one-man show it. Yeah?
Tristen, the thing is, you don't even need to quit. Your computer's going to quit on you eventually. You two are finally on the same page. Anyway, but we did have our first regional of the 2025 calendar year take place this past weekend, so we will talk about that. But before we get there, we got some events to cover.
Wait, didn't we already have a regional of the 2025 calendar year?
Oh, Birmingham.
Birmingham.
Oh, yeah. Birmingham ends Rio this year.
Yeah.
All right. The first one in North America.
These Americans, man. The whole world is about America. The World Series.
I said North American, okay, right? Don't make it about me. Make it about the Canadians too. All right, let's hop into the first event, then we'll keep it going too before people start roasting me for being an uneducated American. All right, big things come in small packages during the Small Yet Strong event. Small Yet Strong is what it is. It starts on February 5th, Wednesday, till Saturday, February 8th, only 3 days. 2 XP for catching Pokemon, increased chance to encounter XXL and XXS Pokemon in the wild. Wow. Not super PvP relevant, but let's see what they got for the spawns. Flabebe are just the regular Flabebe, I guess, will be spawning everywhere within your respective area, not like global spawn. They can be shiny, but they've been shiny before. So, but for the first time ever, you could get shiny Nimble, which is what it is. I mean, I have lost to low kicks before in PvP, so in like random limited cups, so it's not like it's completely out of the question for PvP, but it has been around before. And then you can obviously get white and orange for baby no matter where you're at. Obviously, those are the more rare spawns, but they can be spawned anywhere. Bunch of different spawns here, primarily Burmy, the different type of Burmy. I would say the most relevant spawn that's interesting is Paris because you get extra Stardust, but outside of that, just a bunch of bugs, really. Yeah, just a bunch of bug Pokemon and Natu for some reason. And raids are just whatever's in raids right now. Dialga and Enamorous for the most part, incarnate form. And then, yeah, nothing too crazy, honestly. This event's... It is what it is. It's just like a bunch of like... I mean, even the extra small and extra large Pokemon, like... Yeah, there's an increased chance of encountering them wild, but it's really just this small list of Pokemon too. So it's not like you're like, oh, I'm trying to catch an extra large Snorlax. Well, probably not going to find one. I mean, it's possible they might spawn it, but I feel like those are unlikely. But
yeah, I hadn't thought of that actually, because in my head I was like, oh yeah, well, you know, it's at least decent for the people that care about collection challenges and whatnot. But it's like, yeah, the pool is actually pretty small as far as what you're actually going to get. And to be honest, like they're presumably running collection challenges through this event for the Pokemon that are available. Like it actually specifically says, oh no, complete the collection challenge. Oh, collection challenge. I meant showcases. For like they're going to use up the showcases on the Pokemon that are available in this event during the event. So it's like you're kind of just using it for now. It's not necessarily going to be that useful in the near future anyway.
Well, Steve, it's the pool may be small.
Well, the thing too is it's like if you're it's like you're getting a boosted XXL chance of those showcase Pokemon, but like so is everyone else.
What, Tristan's? We've lost Tristan's face, but we have his audio. The delay might be 2 to 3 seconds. Hopefully nothing crazier than that. But Tristan, can you hear us? Give me a yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Small delay, but it's okay.
Funny if we just like, you know, pretend that Tristan's here and we've just kicked him off. Just like, oh yeah, he's in here and
I was like, blink twice if you can hear us. Anyway, we have Care Blast and Shellmate Community. So this one, it's interesting one for sure. But certain the feature attacks will be Razor Shell for Escavalier, which is not like the best move, but it's interesting. And then Excelgor gets Energy Ball, which again, not the best move. I don't know, this is kind of a weird community day. Like you all can let me know. Maybe Professor Tristen can let us know how relevant this would even be. But the bonuses are 3 times XP for catching Pokemon,
It's
2 times
hot
candy
garbage.
Oh, okay. See, that's what I not like to hear, but I'd like to hear, the throwback to hot garbage because this is we had a hot garbage event before this, and this is another hot garbage event, it seems like. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a weird one. Anyway, February 9th. It's not even Triple Stardust, so if you want to miss out on this,
yeah,
not the end of the world.
And also,
Twitter
both of these
discourse was very
shinies have already
poetic.
been released, right?
Yes.
Both these
Yeah,
shinies
so
have already been released, right? Yeah.
The
That's what I
shinies
thought.
are out. The moves aren't that hot. There's not a particularly good bonus, so it's a little bit of a sleeper com day, but
Sleeper. It's a snoozer, maybe.
Yeah. It's pretty underwhelming for sure. I think Excelgor is just kind of bad in general, but like they probably could have found a better move for Escavalier. I don't know why they went with the Razor Shell of all things, so yeah.
Yeah.
They can buff
I mean,
it in the
Fun
future.
douse out
though,
the fires that counter
Excelgor-
it, but
True. It gives them good
Excelgor
coverage.
is the only Pokemon besides Greninja that can learn Water Shuriken. At least in Go. I'm not sure about the main series.
Unfortunately. But
It already knows it. It already knows
it
it.
already knows it?
Like
Oh,
in
you
game?
mean like in the game? I thought you meant like in the main series.
Yeah.
Game. Oh, okay.
Oh.
But well, here's the thing, right? If it was any bit
in Go
useful, we
for
probably
sure.
already know that already. We've seen
Yeah.
it. But
Clearly a crazy good
it's like
fast
saying like,
move, isn't
oh
it?
wait, what?
Exactly. That's
Excelgor
how...
has lock on too already.
Yeah, it has like a busted fast move.
Huh.
Yeah, it has a busted fast move, and it still is just total trash tier. And like Grass Knot's not going to do it any favors.
Energy Ball.
Look,
come back to this moment when Energy Ball, Water Shuriken thingo becomes hot meta and wins the next regional.
I honestly don't mind if like they did something for the PvE players, once in a while, even if it's not PvP relevant. But like we said, like it's already come out shiny variant. So what does this do for the PvE players? I don't know.
Look, I definitely saw a lot of Twitter vitriol from casual players that don't PvP that are like, this is the worst community day of all time. I can't believe they're wasting our time with this thing. And it's like,
look, Niantic's onto something though. Dude, they bug him with this event. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm on top of my speedy jokes today. All right. Anyway, let's go on to the next event because again, nothing crazy about this one. Hoopa Unbound raid date though. Yo. I might be the only one kind of excited for this one, but I have 100% Hoopa Unbound. My only mythical whatever that's 100%. That's worth dumping rare candy XLs for, but it's also hot garbage, so I haven't done it. But now we can raid more of it, and I can get the XLs I finally need to power up this thing that probably will never be relevant, but I can still flex once in a while. Saturday, February 15th, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Will be appearing more frequently in 5-star raids, blah, blah, blah. Remote raid limit to 20. You get extra raid passes for total 7. And then, of course, you get the tickets. You get up to 15 raid passes, more rare candy XLs, blah, 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 all this stuff too. Anyway, nothing crazy, but that's pretty much it. After this, I would love to see them buff Hoopa Unbound a little bit from Master League. That could be kind of interesting. I don't know what moves it has, but I feel like it has a lot of exclusive moves that we haven't really touched upon.
I have honestly got no idea at all.
I don't know.
What's the typing for Hoopa Unbound? I always mix up the two.
It's Dark and Psychic, I believe.
Is it the one where we got one mythical Hoopa from a research line or something?
Yes.
And
then it was
Unbound was in
in
elite raids.
100%. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Got it. Yeah, because I've never done an elite raid in my life.
Okay.
They don't do it in my exact location. So it's I actually might want to try and get a Hoopa.
Yeah, I caught this in Salt Lake City actually back in 2022 at the regional. Yeah. I think it was in my vlog actually. I mean, back when I was making vlogs. So, but Anyway,
Steve, you know where they probably do a lot of elite raids? Perth.
If you were going to say Perth, they do. I could go to Sydney, but I'm not going to Sydney for a raid day. That's not
come down to downtown LA, then I'll show you around.
Anyway,
that's that for that event too. But nothing, not too much info there. But that's fine. Maybe someone will try to make it work one day in Master League. Maybe that person's me. Maybe.
YouTube video incoming.
Yeah.
Caleb about to be unbound.
Yeah, so's my elo gains. Okay, that pretty much does it for our events.
Oh, and
what were you saying?
Just real quick, back to Excelgor. That thing is squishier than Morpeko. Just for reference.
Yeah. So hot garbage indeed. Okay, so we're going to head over.
Oh, have we gone over? Wait, have we gone over the February event schedule?
No, but we're pretty much just like going through it right now anyway. So I think we'll hit it like event by event.
Because we don't like know anything.
Well, I mean like the raids and stuff.
Well, we talked about that already, actually. Yeah, because we talked about. I know that we said that Enamorous is coming up and everything like that too. So, Enamorous is probably going to be like pretty okay for Master League. Yeah, because I've been playing more Master League these days, and Enamorous is kind of annoying to play into. It's like frail, but his moveset coverage is kind of interesting with Fly and I think it's like Energy Ball is something else it has. I don't know, with Fairy Wind. It's a pretty annoying fairy to face. I don't know if it's like really, really good, but it's definitely maybe almost on par with like Xerneas, maybe with slightly better coverage, but
fair enough. It's another one that's coming out of elite raids though, I guess. So
yeah.
Happy days.
Yeah. I remember last year was during Valentine's Day. I was just like, man, some people might have stuff to do, So
yeah, that's definitely my excuse. That's
yeah. All right, let's go straight to Go Battle League because Kaz is unfortunately under the weather, so no Kaz's corner this week. We did take into consideration the whole jingle situation. It looks like people want a jingle, not necessarily from me.
Well,
but they want a jingle. All right, what's the poll results? We posted it here. All right, so should Kaz's corner have a jingle? 39%, yes. 8%, no. 33%, only if Caleb sings it. 20% only if Steve sings it. Kind of wild that we don't have Kaz and Tristen as options to sing it too on here. So who knows? Maybe if Tristen was singing it, it'd be 40%,
True.
So
well,
slight jingle. We'll work on it. Maybe I'll workshop something. But I feel like if it's like there's a jingle, it should either be like really, really good, which is unlikely, or more likelihood is whoever sings it really, really bad. And then you're all going to hate that you were signed up for a jingle.
You asked for this. This is what you get.
I have something in mind. Maybe if I'm feeling motivated and not shy, I might post it to you all, but we'll see. Anyway, Go Battle League. Let's do a quick elo check because I know Kaz's not here, so we don't know who's really won this veteran bet. But what you at, Steve?
But I know Kaz. Kaz hit 2,500. I think that happened right after the last episode.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. When you were trying to reconnect me and Steve, we're like, well, should we save this episode or next episode? And we're like, let's do next episode. But Tristan had different plans. That's fine. It's fine. Yeah. I mean, Kaz will show us herself, I guess.
Yeah. Look, I'll wait to pair up as a Deno till next week, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. What are you at right now?
Okay. So here's the thing. I'm currently at 2206. I was at 2457. Oh, no. I super climbed from 20. So I was at 2130 and I lost a random battle to this random team. And I was like, all right, I'll give this team a run. Because I was like, we'll just run a team that beat me because it's probably okay. And then I just went 5-0, 5-0, 4-1, 4-1.
What? Wait, what team was it?
It was Wigglytuff, Galarian Corsola, Shadow Gator. And it was just crushing all the way up to 2457. And then I kept running it. And then I went down 2400, 2300, 2200, 2190. And I was like, oh. So I run it again, and now I'm sort of bouncing mostly between 2250, 2350, but I had a bit of a generational fall off at the end of yesterday, so we've got some distance to run.
Okay.
Tell you what, I was in striking distance, and I was like, man, I got this. They're not going to expect this at all.
Yeah.
I was like,
I definitely wasn't, and it looks like my expectations matched the reality. I'm at 2807, but
okay.
I found a team yesterday that I started running a team yesterday that's like super busted in my opinion.
Little Jungle?
We'll see. No, I did a little jungle, but it's just not really my kind of thing. Shadow Jump Love, Shadow Drapion Safe Swap, and the Shadow type Flosion.
Dude, that was the team that was really crushing me.
No way. Was it really? There's no way.
Yeah, there was a lot of jump off leads, and that was definitely, it showed up in the.
Oh, the team that was crushing. I think it meant like the team that you end up running.
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
That's a mad team.
But the Drapion swap draws out the Mud Slapper, and then Typhlosion in the back is just cooking everything. It's crazy. I don't care if it's a Zoomer and like a Pidgey on the back. I go 1v2, you know. But yeah, it's pretty nice. I had Serperior originally, but then like every Dragon lead I saw or Dragon Safe Swap was just miserable, and so I was like, I need to do something about this. Anyway, feel free to grab it for some quickie low gains.
Wait, Caleb, is Little Jungle not your cup of tea because Smeargle and Shuckle are banned? Is that why?
Dude, I mean, yeah. I mean, I think Little Cup is more fun when the bulkier stuff is around for sure. But this, like, in this meta, I'm just like, dude, I had to shield everything, you know, and I don't know what to shield. But I did go positive running this. I was running a Shadow Ducklet with Water Gun. Or no, I think I pivot over to non-Shadow actually after a while. Non-Shadow Ducklet with Water Gun, and then non-Shadow Steelix because I don't have a Shadow Steelix. That's like eligible. All mine are weather boosters, so I can't make one for a Little Cup, and then Pikachu Libre. And again, similar concept, you draw the Mud Boy with the Steelix and stuff too. But yeah, I don't know, everything's just so much more frail. But yeah, not really my kind of thing. Have any of you been playing Little Jungle Club?
I have not touched it. I don't have a little roster, and like if it had Smeargle or Shuckle allowed, I would have jumped in to try and Elo exploit up to vet.
You have those built?
No, but I would.
Like, what do you mean you would? You know those are like heavy XL investments, right?
Yeah, but like I'm sitting on XL rare candies, and if that's what I need to win the bet, then I'll jump in. But you know,
but the Smeargle needs to be 100% too. How ready are you? And it's got to have the right moveset.
Yeah, I've got a 98% Shuckle that you know, is just sort of sitting in the wings, and then
that's good enough for sure.
Yeah, I don't remember where my Smeargles are at. But like I've got some options, and like you know, you still do pretty decent.
But do they have the right moveset?
Yeah, I've got the right moveset. They were in the
Niantic, bring back Little Cup one day with the Smeargle. I really want to see Steve, you know, run this OP bulky team.
I'll use all.
He's gonna run 2 bulky Pokemon and then some really frail piece of paper as the third.
Is it Whale McCarry?
Yeah. Here comes the Weedle.
The thing is,
I big goof too.
He says he has the rare XLs, but he probably only has enough for one of them.
Yeah. You know, we'll see where my XL candy lands otherwise. But to be honest, on the ban topic, I'm actually pretty salty in terms of Niantic. The way they announced the cup with bans on Gligar and Galarian Stunfisk. Those are the only 2 bans. In reality, Shuckle is also banned. Smeargle is also banned. And then Gligar and Galarian Stunfisk aren't banned. They're out there.
But Smeargle and Shuckle were banned.
Yeah, so it's very like reminiscent of Little Holiday Cup where Smeargle was banned without announcing it, and they literally never acknowledged it. They didn't post a tweet, they didn't update the blog, they didn't do anything. And it just feels like this time around, not only if they banned Smeargle and Shuckle, but if you look at the blog and see, oh, these 2 are banned, they're not banned. And so it's like, you couldn't get better evidence of Niantic just seemingly just saying, you guys don't matter to the PvP community, because it's like, well, you're not even bothered to update a blog. Like, you could make one Niantic help tweet and be like, hey, this is what the deal is. But instead, they're just like, who cares? We don't need to fix that. Like, man, yeah, a little bit saddening.
Well, the funniest thing too is like 3 hours after it started, the Pokemon Go Twitter put out a tweet that said like, little jungle cup, and it listed out
Yeah.
the cup with the Gligar and Galarian Stunfisk bands. So like they put
Yep.
out a tweet after it started with incorrect information.
Which, like, to be clear, it is awesome that the account started posting GBL stuff, and that only happened in like December, I think, for maybe the first time. I'm not sure, but like, yeah, the fact that they're like pushing misinfo and like they're not even correcting their own tweets is kind of insane. But yeah, very cool, very cool.
The only thing I really hope Niantic doesn't do again is a little catch cup, because there's people that like tried to plan for these, these little cups in advance, right? And they might be best biting their Smeargle making it already, and then they pull the rug from under us and they're banned. And then next time, if they have a little catch cup, people are gonna be like, "What the heck? I just spent all the time making this Smeargle or Shuckle for this one, and I can't do it."
Yeah.
So,
Well, I had a few people messaging me this time being like, "Hey, I just built my Shuckle. Like, let's get ready to go." And I had to tell them, like, "Man, you are better hope that thing becomes eligible later." But yeah, Niantic just wasting people's resources out here.
I know, like, we roast Niantic sometimes too, like,
I feel like it's
excessively
good
but...
what they did with the bans.
Yeah. I think the bans are good.
I feel like what they did with the bans itself was good, but like Steve is saying, the lack of communication here is the problem.
Yeah. But I mean, I think of the times when we roast Niantic, some events a little subpar and stuff like that. It is what it is. But I think for this one, like, there's just like a small communication thing that they could definitely really tighten up and save a lot of people headache and stuff too. So, because we're pretty much 2 months into the season, we're finding out, right? It's not like this is the first cup of the cycle. Like, some people might have legitimately been planning for this for 2 months straight. Because I know when I had to plan for using my Shuckle and Smeargle for the first time, I was planning all freaking season for it, because there's also a little catch cup on top of it, right? So had I done all that stuff and I found out that Smeargle and Shuckle are just all of a sudden banned, that would have been not good. If that was the case, that would not be good.
Honestly, just disrespectful, really. But as you said, a subpar event is like, whatever, that's opinions, but this is pretty bad, I think. But
all right, we didn't need to harp on that too much, but let's hop over to Professor Tristen. What you got for us this week? The delay is strong with this one.
My problem is I haven't done a great job of keeping track of which ones I've covered, so I think I've covered most of the things I have, but I don't remember which ones I haven't at this point.
That's all funny. Good. Okay, maybe we'll just table it.
Especially because especially because of some of the ideas I've had dated back to like last season that they didn't implement in December that I'm still hoping to see in March. But I do have a quick and easy one for this week. I think it would be cool if they gave Surf to Lugia. Because Lugia kind of took a hit when they nerfed Sky Attack. Yeah. It would give it like mixed coverage to let it hit against like rock and steel types, and especially with how popular Rhyperior is in Master League, being able to do double super effective damage into Rhyperior, and it could serve as sort of like a soft core breaker to like Rhyperior Tapu Bulu cores. Right, and the thing is, like, people run like Tapu Bulu Rhyperior, and Lugia could be kind of a soft core breaker. Like, it still has lose cons to Rhyperior, but it at least would play it much better with the addition of Surf.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I did hate like how hard like Lugia was hit with all these random nerfs that were mostly targeting Great League Pokemon, but Lugia is pretty much just extinct right now in Master League too, because I played a lot of it this season. None of it. I mean, Yveltal's also around, which doesn't help, and like Sucker Punch buff and everything. But there's not really a lot of targets for Lugia in general. So, yeah, I don't know. It used to be a good dragon check, but not so good right now. Okay, that's a good one. I would like to see Lugia get even maybe a more substantial buff, but maybe that's just me because I like Lugia. I don't know, but it's like easy to play around in my opinion, Master League, because it's kind of slow pacing and it doesn't hit as hard, but it's also pretty bulky, so it gives you a lot of like neutral options. But
time for an updated
yeah, I mean, you
Peng
can also
Lugia
give
challenge.
yeah, right.
I mean, you can
You
also give
get
it something like Fly, which could work too. Fly.
Yeah,
But I
Fly
feel
honestly
like
would be
the
good.
water coverage of Surf. But like with how popular Rhyperior is, I feel like the Surf actually has more utility at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you land an Aeroblast, it's actually not too bad because they're just throwing resisted Mudslabs, and they have to throw 2 full like Rock Records to even like do any meaningful damage. So I don't know. I think if it were up to me, like as someone that likes using Lugia in Master League, I would rather opt for Fly over Surf, just so you get the stab, and it's like just like such a good move and stuff, and like it helps like because also like Palkia ends up being really annoying if you have Surf because you're just like, well, I'm going to throw double resistant Surf as a bait, or like go for the Aeroblast and then just shield, right? Um, I don't know. I think that's my only hesitation with Surf. I can see the utility of it. I just don't know, like, outside of Rhyperior, it doesn't really cover too much because, like, the steel types, there are a lot of steel types, honestly, in this meta right now that's outside, like, Dialga. But if you occasionally see, like, a Melmetal or something, and, like, Excadrill's pretty much extinct, too, just because of Rhyperior, I guess. But, um, yeah, I don't know. I would just probably just opt to go to Aeroblast instead of have the Surf. But because I've run a Hydro Pump on Lugia before, and it's, like, decent damage, but like not enough to like flip any steals anyway. But okay.
Yeah.
Anyway,
The
let's
other one you could give it would be Psyshock.
Oh,
you could also give it Psyshock, but Psychic isn't really a good offensive typing in Master League is the thing.
It's not. Otherwise, Hoopa
Because there's a
Unbound
lot
would
of
probably
like
be more
dark
useful.
and steel and stuff.
Does it learn Side
There's not really
Strike
much
like
fighting or
Mewtwo?
poison or anything weak to it.
If it has
I don't
Side Strike
think
like
so, no.
Mewtwo,
I'm pretty sure it
okay,
doesn't.
then that'd be. I was like, that would be that I could sign myself up for. Yeah, I think Side Strike also just needs a buff in general, but anyway, all right, let's head over to the championship series where we had San Antonio this past weekend.
The first regional of the 2025
of the calendar year taking place in Texas. But we had it's kind of funny because there's like a lot of like new names and stuff and new champions, but sometimes you look at these tournaments and be like, man, this is like the same cast of people. I was like, it's either Rise going to win another regional for the season or Elite, and this time around it was Elite. Elite's had quite the performance actually this season. He got second at Baltimore, and then now first at San Antonio. He didn't do so hot in in Sacramento, but he was in the group of death, and yeah, it was not a fun time.
I mean, he beat the world champ, I guess.
Also,
but
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Also, if you look at the NA regional champions this year, it's kind of insane. We have Wadaj, Lyle Jeffs, S. James, Ilum, and Elite.
So Elam's the only person that's a first time champ. Consistency, man. Is rewarded, I guess.
But also, I feel like there's no surprising people in there either. Normally every season there's one or two people that are good, but you're not necessarily expecting them to win, and they just have a killer tournament and take the championship. But I feel like we haven't had that, at least in North America this season.
Yeah, but there have been people that have definitely improved quite a bit over time. Like Stubmuff has got third place, right? His highest finish so far, and I know he's definitely been putting into work with practice tournaments and all this stuff, and he's gone to a lot of other in-person tournaments too. Like Torian, Torian was pretty solid last year in his debut, but I think he's also been super consistent, right? And he gets Flying Pizza makes his first top 8, right? Pyro Panda, I didn't even know who this person was before this, got top 8. So there's a few people that are on the up and coming, but it seems like our champions are kind of repeat, right? And you can see Al Pocket almost about to win another title as well again. So I was the top 4 or top 5 even. It could have been any of them. If you can throw Doombug into there, it could have been any of like 4 of them could have been just repeat champions right then and there. But
yeah, I will say something kind of crazy about Elite's run in this tournament is, I mean, in part how early he went out in the losers bracket, but then how no one else in the losers bracket did as well as Elite did. Oh, and obviously, but in the sense that, like, if you look at the sort of Dracovi's list, he had to win 13 matches, 13 rounds. The next highest is 7 in the entire tournament. Like, he almost won double the amount of matches as anyone else in the entire tournament, which is kind of crazy.
I know. When I was watching it, I was like, dude, this gives me reminiscent memories of Fresno, right?
Yeah.
I'm like sitting there like Rise Occasion, like, ain't no way Elite going to make it all the way here. I'm chilling on the winner's side. Next thing you know. Like, I feel like, nothing against Stub Muffins, obviously, but I think Rise was definitely in a more advantageous position against Stub Muffins than Elite, right? And obviously because Elite ended up beating him twice in 2 best of 5s, but and Stub Muffins, only went 1-3 against Rise. But like in those situations, like I know, like, good players are like, oh, I could beat anyone stuff. But realistically, there are like times where you're just like, I'd really rather play this person than this other person, right? Because I know my chance is a little better. I feel like Rise is sitting there thinking the same thing as I was when watching like Elite versus Stub Muffins losers finals. Like, come on, Stub Muffins, let's just get this rematch, like, and then we'll just wrap it up. Let's just get this rematch. I don't really want to have to face Elite, but because you're watching Elite play these top players and just like, and going on this losers run, you're just like, he's like on his stride, right? That like, if he makes that grand finals, like, you're going to be in trouble. And that was the case. But,
yeah. Well, the thing too is not just how good Elite is, but like I said, it wasn't just how like how good of a player Elite is, but like Elite's team was very challenging for Rice's team. Like, Rice just got punished so hard for not having a grass type because Elite just ran a Azumarill Shadow Marowak core, and Rice just didn't have a good answer because his best things into Azumarill really struggled against Marowak, and his best things into Marowak really struggled into Azumarill. And both Azumarill and Marowak
and the Feraligatr too.
Really flexible, like he doesn't have as well.
Yeah. And triple
so
water
like
too,
the team just matched up really hard for him. Yeah.
Again, when I'm watching, I was like reminiscent of Fresno.
Sure about,
except Rise actually was able to beat him a couple times, unlike me. But
I feel like at least one of the games where Rice beat him, like Rice played well, but Elite also misplayed a little bit, and he let Rice get a full fast move through, which totally changed the game there. But I was gonna say, I feel like Rice, like at a certain point, it seemed like I think Rice did or should have realized that like this matchup was really tough, and it seemed like he kept trying to do the same things and it kept not working. And I would have liked to see him try to mix in his Annihilate more than just the last game of the Grand Finals reset, because like the Annihilate had a lot of play there, especially because Elite wasn't really bringing the Ariados. So like, it loses to Azumarill, but it still has some counterplay. And then it's
I think it's like I kind of get where Rice
like
is
some
coming
counterplay.
From too. Yeah. I mean, I get where Rice is coming from though, because like when you're in a best of 5, like there's so many games, and especially 2 best of 5s, right? And sometimes you're just like, dude, there's no way the guy's going to keep bringing the same comp. So if I bring the same comp, I could eventually like throw him off a bit, right? Like, and sometimes sometimes that does work and sometimes it doesn't. Like I remember when I was against Abhinav in the grand finals, like when we reset the bracket, I just let Bastion 3 games in a row. It was like, dude, I'm eventually going to catch a good lead. There's no way, right? I'm like 4 times strong. I'm going to catch a good lead. It just like didn't happen, right? But like I get it though. I mean, you see like Arrow do those kind of things pretty often, but I think like even like that's not even the craziest strategy I think for elite battlers to do, and unfortunately just didn't pan out for Rise so well. But yeah, there goes Elite. The good news is that we don't have any repeat champions in North America this year, so all these guaranteed invites aren't being overlapped anywhere. Ain't no one pulling a Martel Galde right now. In North America, so that is kind of nice, and it makes it easier for everyone else like me trying to qualify for Worlds and be like, okay, well now all those championship points Elite has don't matter, But yeah,
true.
So
so far, we're only halfway through. The chance of a repeat champ only increases in odds. as there's more champs running around.
True.
Yeah. Well, Doomebug is.
It's
I know
crazy
still looking
that
for his
Dune
first
hasn't
one this
won a
season,
tournament this season yet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean he's still
I
performing
was
pretty
gonna say
consistently
that.
too. It's
'Cause I
just
was
that
thinking,
I think
for
everyone's just gotten
sure.
really good at the game. Like not to say that like I think I feel like Dune's always been slightly ahead of the curve in general, but I feel like as of now the curve has kind of caught up to him a bit. And this is no knock on Dune. It's just that I feel like again the skill ceiling is only so high, so he could only improve so much, whereas other people can improve enough to catch up to him, right? But
Right.
that's just my interpretation of the
Yeah.
situation.
I think the other factor is that we have a couple less regionals this season, which I think concentrates the level of talent at each regional a little more, which makes each regional on average more challenging than they were last year. Like, think about it. Like,
Yeah,
we've
I'd
talked
say
about some
every
of the other
tournament is more
regionals this season.
stacked.
It's been like, this top cut was so stacked. Like, this was the most stacked tournament we've seen, sort of a deal, right? Like, we keep seeing that because, and I think it's because there's less regionals, so there's just a higher concentration of good players, combined with the fact that we've had more instances of some strong European players coming over to compete in NA regionals as well. Like we've seen Tomahawk a couple times, we saw Colin once, Nataquins once, these Wireless once. And then, I mean, like you said too, like we've had other players who have improved and thrown themselves in the mix. Like Dr. Roast Beef has really been a standout who's really come up and been punching above his weight and taken out a lot of good players. You're talking about how the Torian has improved, Stud Muffins, and like several others. So like we have all the big names from before, and then there's new people that are making a name for themselves as well. So they're just getting harder and harder and harder.
Yeah, exactly. Again, my plea to Niantic is just make the game a little more complicated for PvP, because I think like too many people are hitting this or coming close to the skill ceiling at this point, and there's unfortunately limited skill expression at this point too. Again, 4v4, GBL and PvP, game changer in my opinion. Still game changer. It increased the game length a little bit. It's fine. Our game is quick anyway. VGC is going through, like, we're like 3 rounds in and VGC just finished 1 round, like it'll be fine. Or TGG as well. So maybe not that exaggerated, but I think that's the main my hope. But anyway, big congrats to Elite.
I agree, but I'd also love them to I'd love to see them work on the game state before they work on adding new features to PvP.
I think both can happen at once, because my take on the game state is it'll never be perfect, because the way the game works, every half second of latency can impact your game, and like you get latency in other games too all the time. So, but the difference is half seconds in those games don't usually aren't noticeable or don't really matter too much, right? So.
Oh, I know it's never going to be perfect, but like it could be better than where it's at right now.
No, I agree. I think the problem is they don't know how to fix it, because if they did, they would have done it years ago, right? And if they make progress over the years, they would have done it by now, right? And so I think the problem is they don't know how to fix it. Whereas implementing a 4v4 in-game change, they can actively work on and do, right? Like they can actually make tangible steps to do. They can just code for it or whatever. Whereas I don't know. Like I'm not saying the game state isn't like an important issue, but I'm legitimately at the point where I'm just like, I don't know if they know how to solve it, and because of that, I don't know if they'll ever truly solve it. Like we would all love to see it. Okay, let's hear your take.
Remember that time that they hunkered down for 3 months and they just worked on PvP for a little while
because of GGG.
Oh, no, not that bit. When they fixed move sneaking and denials and whatnot. They're they actively announced we're going to work on PvP. We're going to fix PvP. We've heard you guys. And that PvP was legitimately in a great state following that, when they actually put dev focus on it. And then there was that thing where I think it was Michael Strunka. I can't remember if it was here, if it was talking to Zoe, and he was kind of like, yeah, look, we put a lot of focus into PvP, but we didn't. It didn't really get a lot out of that, in the sense of the higher ups don't get anything to announce. They don't get anything to post on social media and whatnot. It's just upkeep. And so the vibe I got was the attitude was very, well, why would we bother doing that again? Like, why waste our time on that? So I think that it's really just deciding not to apply resources, which, is like a decision they're allowed to make. But I think it is fixable.
Yeah.
If they had someone on it all the time.
Well, I talked to some people from Niantic as well, but I can't really share all this stuff. Some of that is probably true. Again, they probably don't tell me everything either, but I think the current state of the game with like one turn lag and all those things, I'm pretty sure that those are things that they're trying to fix, but have not figured out how.
Okay.
But
well, we can hope.
But anyway, I mean, I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just saying, in the meantime, let's just do the 4v4, that would change, that would revolutionize the game. And here's the thing, if a game is longer, right, this is not just Pokemon Go, any game, if a game is longer, one turn lag, half second lag, all this stuff is less consequential because there's so much more things that can happen, right? That's like saying like, oh, if you're playing like a game of basketball, right? And if the game is only 1 minute long, every little like missed call from the judges or from the refs, right, of fouls and whatever, are way more impactful than like a 45-minute game, right, an hour-long game of basketball, right? So like again, like it's not like a solution by any means, but if you extend the game length and you allow for more things to happen, little things like that won't matter as much, like, oh, I lagged there. I was like, yeah, but the guy 4-ball flexed on you. What are you going to do about that? Right? Like, that's not going to matter, like stuff like that, I think. And it's also there's 4 Pokemon. So like, oh, if you lose Switch because of this one turn lag, I mean, you have 3 other Pokemon in the back, like it doesn't, I don't know. That's just my take. Obviously, who knows when it actually comes to play, like if it ever does, if it would actually change things. But I think, in a sense, it could alleviate some of the pressure from Niantic as well. The tilting thing, I think, right now with the game state is that this one turn lag, however, will change the entire outcome of a match. Because you couldn't flip switch because you lagged somewhere or you couldn't get this move off before them. And because of that, I was like, oh, you only got one other option, right? You only have one other Pokemon back you could bring in. So like, well, here it is, But I don't know. That's my thing. Hey, Niantic, you know how to reach me if you need if you want to workshop this idea a bit more. But anyway, congrats again to Elite on the finish in San Antonio. Looks like it's not going to be a Texan that wins the regional this time around. Because first year, San Antonio, it was Doombug.
Also,
last year was Doombug too, actually. So this is the first year. Yeah, Doombug unfortunately isn't able to defend the Texas title this year. But yeah.
Is this also Elite's first title outside of California?
I think so. Wait, he did Fresno, Sacramento. Yeah, first one outside of California. He almost got one in Baltimore this year, but just missed out. Oh, wait. You know what's interesting? I think this is the first time ever Rise hasn't won a grand finals that he's made it to. It's his first ever second place. Because I'm almost positive every time he's made grand finals, he's won. Milwaukee. Well, obviously we know the ones he won, but like I don't think he's ever gotten second.
Dune at one point.
He lost it
was San Antonio.
Didn't he?
Oh, okay, yeah. At an international, yeah. No, at the regional, he got reverse swept in the losers finals by Doom because Doom ended up facing Bibelicious in grand finals of San Antonio that first year, 2023. Yeah, dude. Steel trap, man. Right. Steel trap. but I know, cause I remember too, and like this is like again, this is nothing.
Yeah, the steel trap that said this was the first regional of the calendar year.
Steel trap could only hold things from a long time ago, not recent stuff. Okay, it hasn't entered the trap yet, right? They're still on the outside knocking on the door, right? Also, like if it's actually basic useful information, I don't know. It's about like random things like this that no one cares to remember, besides maybe Rise Occasion. That I remember too, Rise. No, but I remember thinking that too because when I saw that when he lost that final game, it was the 5th game of the bracket reset too. He looked really like sad, and I think for good reason because he's like literally like 1 game away from potentially winning, and getting his first title for the year as well. But then I just remember thinking I was like, wait, it's also probably because he's never been in this spot before where he's lost at a grand finals. Like he's always been able to close it out. and it's first time he hasn't.
Again, NAIC, but
okay, yeah. Actually, NIC too, yeah. But at a regional, yeah. Okay, so maybe it wasn't his first time. Maybe I'm just reading into his facial expressions too much. Yeah, when he lost at NIC, he like kind of laughed though and smiled. I mean, maybe he was just happy for Dodge too, and he was like, "Well, second at international still pretty good." But
yeah, he, qualified for Worlds and all at that point.
Yeah. But and he already won a regional that year. So
true.
But knowing how good Rise is, I'm sure he'll be back on that grand finals again. So, and hey, man, I've been there, Rise. Don't worry, I get the feeling.
The silver medal tour guide.
Mm-hmm. All right,
he
let's
won
get
a couple more games than you, though.
Look,
wait, I wanted to just quickly shout out a couple interesting Pokemon in the top in the top 8 before we move on. Elite with the Ariados, I thought was an interesting pick because that's sort of fallen out of favor recently.
A bit, but I wouldn't say it's like
both
super
Rice
anti-meta.
And Flying Pizza.
Yeah.
Rice and Flying Pizza both with the Toxapex.
Yeah.
Which I think is
I feel like Toxapex is crazier than Ariados,
for Toxapex.
Actually. Yeah.
Oh, I agree, because like between the Diggersbys, the Drapions, the
occasional
Corsolas, the Annihilapes running around, like the thing loses to Annihilate most of the time. Right, exactly. Stud Muffins in third with Dunsparce, which has also mostly fallen out of favor just because of how good Annihilate is and how popular it is. Plus,
it's still on the top 12 graphic.
Yeah, but like it hasn't really made much day 2 usage recently. Like just because it's top 12 overall usage, it hasn't really been performing too well in terms of like day 2 usage. And then the last one, or two more, and then the Torian with regular Zapdos, sort of following in Rarjeff and Desync's footsteps, which I do think is a pretty good anti-meta pick right now. And I think I heard that it's the non-shadow over the shadow because it has more bulk to deal with Annihilape's counter damage. And then Pyro Panda with the Gudra.
Yeah.
Like none of these are like super spicy, but like they're just things that we don't usually see placed too highly.
I'd say the Zapdos and Gudra are definitely pretty out there too. Decent amount of Dugong, which doesn't have that high in usage, but decent amount of top 16 placements with Dugong. I think Dugong didn't make top 12 usage, right? For day 1.
I think it actually might have.
Did it? Okay. Also, interesting enough, there's pretty much like almost no jump bluff. Oh, 7th? Oh, okay. Never mind then. What? Why is it? Is it because of Marowak and Diggersby, I guess?
I thought Jumpluff might have been a big part of it, to be honest.
Maybe. Yeah, Jumpluff didn't make it as far.
Yeah, I think
like,
it's Jumpluff.
Top like 8 at least. Okay. That makes sense, I guess. I mean, it's got like... it's
I think it's like the Jumpluff matchup, and then being
it's not bad as
decent into like Diggersby and Drapion too. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, into Marowak.
And it's not terrible into Azumarill either.
Not terrible into Feraligatr either. Like, he has some utility, so... Okay. Not as much Annihilate as I would have expected compared to past storms, at least. Only 4 in the top 8, which is a decent amount, but still not like a ton. Only 1 Primeape in all of top 16. So, anyway, that's that. I mean, nothing too crazy spicy from the NA players, but that's kind of how we roll sometimes. All right. Well, let's head over to the T topic because it's going to be kind of a long one. Someone want to break it down for us? Break down the history.
I mean, I've got the cliff notes, but
okay.
Don't know if I'll do it justice.
Well, I can get started then too. So Zhao Victor wrote like the injustice against Corviknight, talks about how like LNDS Zhao Victor, very very solid player, a very good player actually. And then talk about all the different movesets. Used a bunch of like AI generated images, which was kind of funny. There's like a picture on all this stuff, but talks about all these things about like it's like how he really wishes that it had drill peck and all that stuff. He writes a long post about this. And then this is on the 27th of January. And then, so that's like, 3 days ago. And then Magmar Man responds with a big post.
Way longer. Way longer.
Yeah, it doesn't seem as long. It's not like 10 like replies into the same thread, but I think there's technically more characters.
Yeah.
Let's break it down. I'll just read it because screw it. Why not? Rebuttal to Zhao Victor's drill peck Corviknight wouldn't have been bad for the meta thread. Now, Magma Man, also known for his spites and stuff too. Big Vigoroth hater, pre-nerf, and so context for where he's coming from. In quotes, so he's talking about like he's responding to every one of Zhao Victor's arguments. So that's why I didn't read Zhao Victor stuff because a lot of it is covered in Magma Man's post. One of the arguments used by players was that it would become an RPS Pokemon because it had Drill Peck. I don't agree with this. By losing its best neutral coverage moveset, its typing and status becomes the factors in the individual victories. So that's Zhao Victor's point. And Magmar said, it was the main argument because back in pre-September meta, Skarmory was extremely RPS alongside Lantern. Remember how we all wanted both of them to be nerfed? Because I do. Letting it have Drill Peck literally would have made it a better Skarmory, because, which is something that nobody sane wants. It is.
Okay. If you actually want to break this up, we can sort of like one man it.
Okay, yeah. Take the next one.
Okay, I'll be Magma Man.
Oh, you'll be Magma.
Okay,
okay.
Sorry, I'll be Victor. Right. Okay.
Yeah, because he writes last, so I got before. Go for it.
Okay. Given my analysis, I've come to the first conclusion that it shouldn't have lost Drill Peck. It would be a strong Pokemon, which would make an impact, but it would be interesting because it wouldn't be RPS in general. It would be a strong neutral, like Medicham and Lickitung were.
All right, Magmar says, I'll get to Medi and Licky in the next point, but let's stick with the rest of the point for now. The win rates in Great League alone should tell you that it would have been freaking insane, quote unquote. I'm editorializing some of this for our, maybe less younger audience. We'll focus on those because that's the main competitive format, but Ultra League would have been a billion times worse off. Anyways, let's compare top Corviknight to Galarian Corsola, which people have been complaining about. Corsola has a similar win rate to Sand Attack, Drill Peck, Corviknight, but a much worse overall average in the 0s and 1s. In the 2s, Corsola goes 18, 20, and 1, while Corviknight goes 26, 13, and 0. Annihilate, which people have been complaining about, has worse win rates in every shielding scenario. 19, 19, and 1 for the 0s, and then 23, 15, 1 for the 2. I don't know, for the 2s.
19, 19, 1 in 0s and 1s.
Oh, and 0s and 1s, sorry, yeah. And then 23, 15, 1, and 2s. Also, Steel Flying as a typing in general is super RPS type combination. It resists more than what hits it for neutral or better damage, and your two weaknesses are Fire and Electric, both of which are generally considered frail typings, and also weak to ground, which we see a lot of ground of, obviously. You'd never guess it, but a fair amount of players want Mudslap nerfed. Would Corviknight have reduced Mudslap's prevalence or increased it in an attempt to stop people from stopping Corviknight? I think it would have been the latter, personally. That's part 1 of 4.
Are we going to read this whole thing?
Let's do one more and then.
Okay.
All right, let's see if he has let's maybe cover his last point.
Yeah.
Okay. Do the final conclusion one. Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is a lot to read.
Okay. So this is the pro Corviknight conclusion. Final conclusions: unjustified, shallow analysis, and unnecessary change. To avoid total chaos, just removing Sand Attack and keeping Drill Peck would be very feasible too, and potentially healthier in the big picture. In my personal view, both Sand Attack, SW. What's SW?
Steel Wing.
Okay.
Steel
Plus
Wing?
Drill Peck would be healthy. Okay, so I guess he's flipped SWSA. He actually means Steel Wing / Sky Attack.
Sky Attack.
Would be very healthy.
Yeah. Okay. And then Magmar, my final conclusion. You pricks need to learn proper game balance. Man, he got really heated by the end of this.
Yeah, wow.
I didn't see the progression, but he really just jumped straight to the villain arc. You pricks need to learn proper game balance. This was a necessary change because even if they took away Sand Attack, we would have just had Skarmory 2, and we would have all complained again. And while I would have been happy to rub it in your faces, I also would have been pissed because my favorite type would have been unusable again. What's his favorite type? Grass? I think it's Grass's favorite type. I acknowledge that you have had a lot of experience in GPL, but your P-Poke analysis is severely lacking, and your appreciation of the pre-September meta as blinding your judgment. As it is now, we have the ability to improve Corviknight by buffing Sky Attack, but if it received Drill Peck, then we would have needed to get both Drill Peck and Payback. Need to gut both Drill Peck and Payback, which is just Steelix with Breaking Swipe all over again. Interesting.
He's like, full disclosure, I did not read this. I was like, I do not have the time or the patience to read through the Word doc.
The comments are pretty funny too. Yasser said, "Did it occur to you when you wrote it that no one's gonna read it?" And then Arrow's like, "That's a lot of words to just be wrong." I don't know. Arrow's take on the meta is always a little questionable in general. So, but
a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it seems like a lot of people are disagreeing with his take, but I actually don't think it's a terrible take.
I don't think it's a terrible take. It is obviously a lot of words, and so like you're asking a lot for people to read that. But the replies really got like pretty hard.
I think people just want to troll and meme on him and stuff, but like I think if Z's Wireless wrote a similar thing, people wouldn't be as like harsh.
Yeah.
But to be fair, the language that Magmar Man used was a little bit patronizing.
Yeah. Well, it also came back in the replies as well, to say the least. So the replies was a little bit cesspool-y.
Did Zhao Victor respond?
I don't know, actually.
I wonder if he like quote tweeted, because I don't think I saw it in the response.
Yeah, I didn't see his name. Oh, no, he did reply. Oh, he just said, I'm not surprised that one of the biggest RPS supporters in the game criticized my text about the bird.
Is he a big RPS supporter? He just runs really weird spice, I feel like. But I don't know. I wouldn't call him a big RPS supporter. Like, it's not like he's using like Bassy, Shadow Vic and stuff, even GBL. Yeah. I don't know if that's... Again, I'm not like defending Magmar Man's take, but I think some of the criticism might be a little bit too unfounded.
Look, I don't think he was making friends with
being
quite argumentative in the replies. Saying if something along the lines of it's not my fault. I'm paraphrasing, but go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, the language and the way he approached some of this definitely was fairly antagonistic, which wasn't great. And I mean, you guys know, I agree with most of his points, as you guys heard last week when I sort of talked through the Corviknight moveset changes. There's a few things in there I don't entirely agree with, but in general, I agree with most of what he's saying. And again, I think part of it is just sort of the way he approached it and some of his language and stuff. But also part of it is just that people get unreasonably salty and vicious when it comes to anyone proposing nerfs to an unreleased Pokemon's
really sucks.
Because for whatever reason,
this is like speaking for a friend here.
For whatever,
and myself,
they were mean to me.
and you were polite about it too. You didn't write any patronizing language in your post, in your graphic.
Right, and I was ready for people to be salty and toxic, but like my point is just I was polite about it and people were still being super pissy and rude and stuff. So like it's sort of the nature of the beast to an extent, because for whatever reason people just want like stupid OP busted Pokemon to be released and don't like actually think through what that looks like. And then half of those people are the same people that were the ones complaining about Whaleren being too good like 5 weeks after it was released with its like good moves. So like people just start looking for reasons to complain, and like they're mad when they don't get the busted thing, but then when the busted thing does come around, then they start complaining that it's too good. So like I've sort of just taken most of the complaining with massive grains of salt at this point, because people are just going to be salty, and a good chunk of people don't really think everything through, or like understand the implications of certain things, or fully understand good game balance. Because like I've seen other comments, because like not only in Magmar Man's thread, but there's been like other Corviknight discourse happening on Twitter, and like some of the things that people want are just like insane. Like someone was saying, I think it was Doms was saying that he wanted to see Corviknight with like a different flying move. So I was jokingly saying like, oh, you can have like Hurricane or Air Cutter, and he was like, sure, make Air Cutter like an unnerved Body Slam clone. And I'm like, what? That would be so like Corviknight, if it had Stained Attack and Drill Peck, would be pretty insane. If it had Stained Attack with basically flying old Body Slam, that would be like the most disgustingly broken Pokemon we've probably ever seen. Like, take a minute and think through what you're saying. And like, in a different tangent of that conversation, he was saying, I think he was saying he wants counter to be reverted back to the old stats, and like bringing back other counter users is fine, but like, can you think how ridiculous Annihilate would be if you reverted counter and didn't change Rage Fist?
They would have to change Rage Fist, yeah.
Like that would
definitely change Rage Fist. Yeah.
Right, but like people aren't thinking through all those things, or they just want busted ass Pokemon. Like I don't understand.
Yeah. I think also like I'm not of the sense that everything that Niantic does is necessarily good for the game, like from a bounce level from PvP, but I do think this one was like okay to take away Drill Peck. But like, you know, stuff like sometimes they just overshoot it a little bit, the overkill. Like the Body Slam nerf, I really don't think that was necessary, you know, when they like rate gut like counter and Rock Slide, right, from Vigoroth. Like they're just like overtuning some of these things.
I mean, I think they were
like,
trying to
there's
hit
always
I think they were trying to hit Licky Tongue with Body Slam.
I don't mind
like,
Lickitung. I think that's Lickitung's a good example of a good
I don't
PvP
either.
Pokemon, you know? It's just like they want to shift the meta a ton, which I mean, it's my guess, which I think is fine, but like that's not good for game balance. That's just good for like novelty, you know? But like I don't think you should ever mess up game balance for the sake of novelty. Just introduce new Pokemon, right? Or make other bad Pokemon better so that Licktung's not the only thing that people opt for, you know? But anyway, that's
right. I think they could have just taken 5 damage. They could have taken 5 damage off of Body Slam to like curb Lickitung a little bit without totally killing it. And yeah, stuff like Vigoroth and Gligar, like they didn't need to like triple and double nerf those respectively. Like they could have hit them with just one nerf and it would have been fine.
Yeah.
Also, personally, I think that Vigoroth was actually a very good, neutral, safe, dynamic Pokemon, besides the fact that Annihilate was in the meta. So like, if you just had nerfed Annihilate out of the meta, like I think Vigoroth would have been very good Pokemon. Like we saw before Annihilate was released, how like safe and neutral Vigoroth was. I thought that was a great thing in the meta. And really my only issue with Vigoroth after that was how polarizing the Vigoroth Annihilate matchup was. But like you would see during that time, if 2 Vigoroth players matched up, those were some of the best and most fun battles to watch, because there was so much more dynamic play with more energy and shield management and not as much reliant on switch. Like I think Vigoroth was actually a good Pokemon. It was just the Annihilate matchup that was mostly problematic in my opinion.
Yeah. What were you saying, Steve?
Well, like we sort of had that same discussion around novelty versus meta balance back when they made the big change during Worlds, and I was definitely on team like, heck yeah, dude, novelty all the way. But at the time, we're also all like, man, this meta is going to suck. Like it's going to be pretty unbalanced, and they're going to have to patch things up. And then ended up being a pretty good meta, all things considered. So like, I'm actually on board with a big change up, but I'm also like, you can change things back. Like, you know, you're allowed to rebuff Body Slam. You know, if you sort of want to bring that stuff back, I don't see much concern with that, to be honest.
Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, interesting tweet back and forth from Mike.
Well, the one last thing
strong in the replies.
I want to say
what would you say?
Mm-hmm. The last thing I want to say is like release movesets are like very important to like, in my opinion, get right or at least be cautious with, because the thing is, once a Pokemon has a move, you can't take that away.
I think Niantic could, though. It's just that they don't.
You have to be very careful.
They took away my Weather Ball Primate.
Like they're capable of it, but I'm sure the coding gets funky in terms of like what move is replaced there and all that stuff, and people might be upset. So I think it's not like they're incapable of doing it, but I think it might be kind of hard because I do
it's
recall
something that's never.
Well, outside the Primate, the Weather Ball Primate did happen. Yeah. As well as the Galarian Lanoon. That also did happen too when people evolved for the movesets. But the reason why I say it might be hard to do is because I know that there's at least one Galarian Lanoon out there that still has that exclusive moveset like Grass Knot Thunder or whatever. And because I've seen footage of it. But they obviously don't want to reveal who it is because then they're going to get it taken away, and they're probably not even using GBL because they're scared of that. Right? It's like a super legacy moveset. But so because of that, I think maybe there are like some difficulties with it, or some can slip through the crack.
Maybe.
But yeah, so I think overall you're right. Like I don't think they could take stuff away very easily.
Yeah. But also, I guess, but when I said I was going based on what Niantic has been willing to do so far, which is they haven't removed moves. So like any sort of like, if you're just buffing or nerfing a move, that's a temporary change that can be reverted. If you nerf something too hard or you buff something too much, you can, tweak that later, and you can always, tune things up and down. But like once a Pokemon has a move, like that's not going to be taken away. So like the thing is, if you give Corviknight Drill Peck, it has Drill Peck from here on out, and you likely end up having to nerf Drill Peck. But without it having Drill Peck, if you want to make Corviknight better, you can look at rebuffing Sky Attack, and then you might bring, Corviknight, make it stronger while bringing Altaria and Noctowl back if that's what you wanted to do. Or you can even look at buffing something like Payback, which right now not a ton of Pokemon use, and you could buff Corviknight by buffing Payback, for example. So like, it was a similar thing with Clodsire, right? You were able to buff Poison Sting, and obviously some of its counters got nerfed as well, but you were able to buff Poison Sting to bring its level up a little. But if you give it something like Poison Jab and Surf, those moves have high collateral and eventually probably have to get nerfed. So you have to be very mindful about what moves you're giving to Pokemon, especially Pokemon with high stat product and good typing. Because again, once it has a move, that move is there to stay. But if you give it something weaker, that move can always be buffed in the future, sort of a deal.
Yeah. All right. Well, interesting discussion. Obviously, it doesn't matter what people tweet. It does have Drill Peck, so it does have Drill Peck. So people tweet into the ether all they want, but nothing's really going to change in that respect, at least. Let's head over to some YouTube comments to wrap things up. We did say that there was a long comment from who is Josh from last week, so let's cover that first before we get into the other comments.
Josh?
Okay.
Steve, did you leave this?
Who is Josh?
Who is Josh? All right. So this is from last week. Hey guys, gals, and Josh, I guess. I've hopefully made it a short-term rolling bet for you all. This Calm Day predictions, making it point-based. Oh, I like this. Full breakdown. Pokemon Calm Day bets. All right. First, pick the generation. You get 1 point for it. Picking the typing of the base form. If dual, you get a point for typing made correctly. So max 2 points. If a single type, you get the 2 points for being correct. So I guess the example is Charmander, right? So you get, if you say fire, you get 2 points for it. If it's dual type, Well, what if you guess 2 typings, but you end up being wrong? It's only 1 typing. Do you get 1 point?
I
Steve,
think it's explained at
you
some
muted
point
yourself,
in there,
Steve.
maybe. I don't remember. There was a lot of...
Steve, you muted yourself, so we can't hear you.
No, oopsies. I think that's part of the predict is you have to pick if it's going to be single or dual, maybe. But
so I get that you get 2 points if you guess both dual correctly, or you get 2 points if you get 1 single correctly. But if you guess 2, let's say I say fire and flying or something, and it ends up being Charmander, so I only get 1 of them right. Do you only get 1 point?
Let's
clarification question.
Let's keep reading through because I think they give
I know. I just want to
on some
yeah. Okay. Sounds good. All right. Typing of the final evolution, final stage, 2 points. If dual, you get a point for each, max 2 points. So similar question. If single typing you picked only, you'll get 2 points. Wait, if a single typing you picked only, you'll get 2 points for being correct. Okay, I think it's the same thing that was said before. And then pick the Pokemon, you get 3 points. Same rules for Calm Day Classics. So here are examples because I see confusions on across your faces. Dang, you got a camera in here or what, Josh? All right. So if I picked Generation 7 typing Rock, final typing Rock, Pokemon picked is Rockruff. I'll get 1 point for the generation, 2 points for the Rock typing for the base Pokemon, 2 points for final typing, and 3 points for the Pokemon max 8 points. But likewise, it could have been wrong for the Pokemon in generation, but could be right for the typing. So it could have been Gen 3 typing Rock Steel, final type Rock Steel, Pokemon Aeron. I wouldn't got a max of 2 points just saying Rock. Okay, so he gets that makes sense because it's just Rock, right? So he gets half, like 1 of those points. Okay. 0 points for generation, and then 1 point for Pokemon typing. 1 point for final stage typing, and 0 points for Pokemon named.
So you do have to go all in with do you want it to be single or double? Pretty much.
Yes.
You sort of lose a point if you guess a dual type and it's only single.
Yeah. Okay. I think this is accessible to all, and hopefully everyone will get the chance to get some points, at least by typing. By deleting 50% isn't too harsh, as most common Pokemon end up in the Professor's Candy Grinder anyway and may be needed for the XLs, but you can decide on the percentage between you. Disclaimers: pick the generation of the Pokemon has to be the base generation Pokemon, not what it could evolve into, like Mankey and Nihilate. Okay, so the correct answer would be Gen 1, Kanto. In the event, that makes sense. In the event of a ties or both / all are considered losers and must fulfill the penalty. Oh, I like that,
Of course you do.
It's at least 1 loser, maybe multiple. If you lose the bet, you still transfer that Pokemon from your storage to whatever percentage you decide on. Even if it means you didn't play it and it's in your storage, you must transfer it to the grinder. Also, you must do the transfer live on podcast to prove that you have transferred percentage, or video evidence is enough if the host agrees. If you had done the transfer before the pod without evidence, that you must leave the percentage left in your storage and of said Pokemon at the percentage you agreed on. I've added this since my brother, Josh, we shall name him, just deletes them without a care. We need accountability for his actions. In the event that there are multiple typing changes between 2 Pokemon, like Magmar and Electabuzz, or if they have 2 final forms but 2 different typings, Gallade, Gardevoir, both share Psychic, but second type is Fairy Fighting, you'll get the typing points for whatever you guess, max 2 points. I know it sounds long and complicated and written down, but I think in short-term bets, it's quite simple. I'm trying to make it as clear as possible so Tristen or Josh don't bend the rules. Hey, that's a YouTube.
What the heck, man?
You can roll you can roll this monthly or however long you want.
Listen. Caleb's gonna be the one bending the rules. He's the one that did a
Pokeball
nothing,
and tried to say it was when I lose, I lose. I bleach my hair right away. Right, I fulfill that bet. I would try and get your predictions in before the infographic for the month comes. The real prize to this will be who will be the first to guess a new community Pokemon community, as the classics are easier to pick from, but still a vast back catalog. He also writes afterward, you might need to hold off this month as February community has been announced. I knew they announced it close to the end of the month. You could do it this month if you wanted to do an honest prediction what you would have chosen, or if there's a Calm Day Classic you do instead, up to you. Okay. Honestly, I like 1, great breakdown. 2, I like it. 3, I think this is good because we do month to month rather than like, let's plan out the next 10 Calm Days in a whole.
Yeah.
And 4, I think this is good because if you're transferring just the comp day that we do a prediction on, hopefully you play the event so you come back and transfer. He said transfer half of the Pokemon or half of the shinies. I think half of the shinies makes more sense.
Yeah, half the Pokemon is just it's helping you out.
Yeah, because then we're just hoarding all this stuff and we'll just transfer, right? It's like that's not as big a consequence. Transfer the shinies though means that I think it's good because it motivates us to go play, right? Because he was like, I gotta get a couple extra shinies, I can transfer half of these, right? But like honestly, if you played like most of comp day, you're probably transferring most of that. At least for me, I'm transferring most of the shinies and afterward anyway for storage. I usually save them all, but then like these days I'm like, there's no way I can save it. So if you don't end up playing the event much, then not a good time.
Look, I'm down.
I'm down for the 50% too. Okay, how about this?
Wait, so you'll know if you already lost the bet or not? Because like if we make our prediction for March, you'll know if you have to transfer in advance, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, that's right. Actually, so maybe we have to. Well, we can either do that anyway, or we can sort of push it to the next one. Like
no. Well. No, either way, you'll always know if you're going to lose or not right away because you have to make a prediction before they reveal it. Like, it'll always be that you find out. Like
the alternative is like you predict the next one and then you sort of like sit on your current one until they announce the next one and then go back and transfer. So like say...
What do you mean?
Say like we predict the March one.
Okay.
And then based on the result of the March one, we have to transfer our February Comday shinies. So we would have to transfer our Shelmets and whatnot.
Oh, no. I think you
could run it.
No. I think it's better to transfer the one you're predicting for. But I think that's fine. You could because then you could play an event. So like, I know I have to transfer these, right?
I think the proposed way. I think what the commenter is proposing is neither of those ways. I think they're proposing that we predict for the whole year, tally up all our points, and whoever's last has to transfer half of everything from the year.
Yeah, but one, that's just way too long term. And also, he does add you can roll this monthly or however long you want. So, personally, I think like monthly makes more sense for us. That's just like way too much to keep track of, right?
Also, it's storage that we just have to sit on.
Yeah. Or you could transfer already and risking that you had to transfer all of them in the end, right?
Yeah.
Also, like waiting like a whole year just to see one person out of the 4 of us lose a bet, like it's unlikely it's going to be a multi-way tie at that point. It's like, that's a long freaking investment, right? I'm still trying to make sure that like I have the same co-host in a year, so I'd be okay with this, honestly, especially because if you know ahead of time who's losing, so who has to transfer, so you can make an effort to like catch a few more. I think the only thing I would add is if the person that loses doesn't end up having shiny. He's like, well, I don't got any shiny. I'm not really interested in Shelmet and Excelor or whatever. I'm just not going to play any. Then the punishment would be you have to transfer 50% of the non-shinies. So it motivates you to at least go and catch some. I think it's fair.
Fair enough.
Right.
Also, a completely possible outcome for me. So
you never know. No, how's it? I feel like this is anyone's game because.
Oh no, yeah. Purely in the sense of like there are com days that I get 0 shinies.
Oh, I see. I thought I meant losing and you had to transfer. Yeah. Dude, honestly, I think the more likely situation is every month there'll be multiple losers because there'll probably be a lot of people that get like no points, which I'm fine with because yeah. Okay. Well, if you're cool with it too, Tristen, as a concept, maybe we'll just have Kaz make sure to listen to this episode back so she knows the rules, and then we can do our predictions for next week.
I think that we run it a bit similar to how we do Kaz's Corner in that like we sort of type it out in the chat and hit enter at the same time. And then we can
I like that. Yeah. So. I'm down for that. I think let's not do Community Day Classics for now because let's just start with the regular one and see how that goes.
Yep.
But so will you be predicting our Com Day predictions for March?
Yep.
Yo, I would say Josh, shout out as well. Who is Josh? Because this is the first time like anyone's left a comment with a suggestion for a bet that like 1, super detailed, and 2, like well thought out. So
yeah,
well thought out. Anyway, let's read our comments from the most recent episode. Artemis Dragon says, it would be great if Niantic took the eBay approach in terms of trades and brought it to Campfire. How would it work? Add a trade tab that lets you offer a Pokemon for anyone around who's interested. Maybe you can even see percentage of what is popular for trades for the day. In theory, this could boost Campfire's viability even more, destroy the eBay trading economy, and incentivize a new way to meet new friends. Now, you could even go a step further and be like, have you checked in at a sponsored Pokestop gym or community ambassador Pokestop, whatever, to drop a rare item when spun? Trading has existed since sort by newest.
I can't
comments.
see this comment at all.
Sort by newest at the top comments is at the very
really?
bottom. Yeah, sometimes it like filters out stuff.
Oh yeah, what the heck?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I think they think it's like spam or something. Because I don't know why.
He's mentioned eBay.
Oh, that's why. yeah.
Okay.
And then Armor Dragon says trading has existed since June 2018 and such a slept-on feature that needs an update. The Pokédex doesn't even show you what's been traded; it just shows seen and caught. Anyway, I'd like trading to get a lot of love. Peace. Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a great idea. They have like trading channels in I was gonna say Slack in Campfire, but it's just like it's kind of hard to access and people don't check it very often. But I think if they legit had like a trading block or channel in every Campfire, that'd be really cool. Great idea. 90 people, if you're listening, steal it. Steal the idea. This is free. Free to steal. How often do you get to steal things for free? Well, usually, but steal things without consequences. Probably not as often. Maybe, I don't know. Tom K says, I think if I remember correctly, then the Necrozma was a makeup for people who raided for them while Niantic forgot to turn on the special background. So it was at raid level. That makes sense. I do remember that because not everyone got them. Because I don't think I think maybe I got one. But it was people that messed up.
That was the thing too. But there was one you got that was still at raid level, or was that level 20?
That was a research that everyone got.
That's what I asked.
There was one from the research. Yeah.
Oh. Me personally, I don't fully remember, so people can quadruple check that if they want to. Red MJJ.
They gave it to you as.
Yeah. They gave it to you as what?
They gave it to us. There was like a research line where you caught a Necrozma, and then one of the last steps was to like fuse it with one of the thingies.
Mm.
And whichever one you picked, it gave you like enough energy and an encounter with a Solgaleo or a Lunala so that you could fuse it.
Yeah.
So they did give us one Necrozma, and that was also a level 20.
Okay. I see.
Rings a bell.
Red MJJU says, hello, my thought is rapidly expanding area, quote unquote, means new subdivisions or retail areas. Those are usually spawn scarce initially. What was that in reference to again?
Because Niantic announced they were sort of increasing the spawns in like cities, in suburban areas, and in rapidly expanding areas. And we were sort of confused what that meant.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Sorry, I forgot that part. Breezy says, man, the sound on the podcast version of Tristen is brutal. The volume, not just the delay. Oh, my apologies. That's actually my fault if the volume thing. I listened to the podcast version though, and I didn't notice anything. But it's possibly because I was listening to it on my headphones. I don't know. I know like it's rough sometimes on speakers, like especially when I'm driving my car, I had to crank it up a bit. But I thought last episode was okay, but I don't know. Maybe I just neglected it. Anyway, that is my fault, Breeze. So my apologies. I'll do better on like bumping. Wait, so the volume, I guess for a clarification question, Breezy, feel free to comment again on this episode. Do you mean the sound is too low, or is it sound quality? Sound quality I can't adjust for because that's Tristan's and the mic. But but his quality mic these days sounds pretty good, I think. So my guess is just the volume. But I'll keep an extra eye on that too because I had to adjust all our volumes every time.
I just got a new mic.
Yeah. So I don't think it's that, but the delay
I just
is
got a
something
new mic
else.
for Christmas. So
yeah. So last week, what I did, I don't know if you could tell from the episode,
also,
is So, yeah, what were you saying? You just what, Tristan?
Oh, I looked up the research. It was called GoFest 2024, The Dusk Settles. It was released as part of Global GoFest on day 1. And the first page, there's a task that came with a Necrozma encounter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that was level 21. What I was going to say is if people didn't realize from last week
encounter.
As well.
And yeah, if you check.
Yeah. What people didn't realize from last week's episode is that I think that the delay does grow over time. So what I did is I shifted everything so that the delay makes sense towards the end of the podcast. But because the delay grows over time, what ended up happening was it shifted the early parts of the podcast so forward that it's like we know what Tristan's saying before he says it. I don't know if I noticed it, obviously, because I like knew how the actual events happened, but based on the way that like I edited it, I don't know. There's like it's either one or, right? There'll either be no delay towards the end, or there'll be like a lot of delay towards the end, but no delay in the beginning. So
Yeah,
I'll do my best to adjust it for this time, but
it's
yeah.
tricky.
We're just gonna wait till Google Fiber hits Tristan's area. S.A. Huffman says the eggs during Lunar New Year are about red shinies for good luck, with the exception of nose patch, which is gold, representing prosperity.
Interesting.
Dang. Okay, S.A. Huffman. How did you find that out of curiosity?
Wait.
What?
Right, the egg. So Makahita, Metatite, Duskull, Skorupi, all red.
Yeah.
Actually, it literally says in Leak Duck, it's actually got a leak note. These are most likely featured in eggs because their shiny variants are red. So, like, Leak Duck has also been like, okay, you guys are going to be confused about this.
Reading Leak Duck, or it's a burner account from someone Niantic. Let's try to clarify for us. Either way, we appreciate the clarification. I did get a shiny nose patch actually from one of my research encounters, but you know, that is what it is. And then I also pinned a comment that I asked myself, should we do a Kaz Corner jingle? And Artemis Dragon says, what genre? With
hard rock
face. We'll think on it a little bit. Maybe if I'm bored, I might workshop something, but I ain't no professional musician, so keep
all the better.
Well, let's make. Oh, you know what? How about this? We each do a jingle.
Oh.
All four of us does a jingle, records a jingle, we post it in the chat, and then we play all four jingles on the next episode of the podcast, and then people vote for which one they want to be the permanent jingle. I think this is actually a genius plan. What do y'all think? Because then we all have to do something, and then we end up going with the one jingle that people actually want, regardless if it's because it's good or bad.
Okay. I'm going to think of when I can do it.
I just want to hear Caleb's jingle.
Well, I want to hear yours too. The jingle would directly be like 10 to 15 seconds. There's nothing crazy. I don't need song and dance. No. They just said they want a jingle. It's the majority thing. I think this is actually a pretty good compromise, right? If we're all down to sing a stupid little jingle. Here's the thing, right? And here's the thing. You might be like, I'm not going to try so hard. I'm going to sing something bad. But that's a risk you take, because what if you sing so badly that it's so funny that everyone wants that instead? So it incentivizes people to try a little bit, probably. Or maybe not. I don't know. You could throw in any instrumental you want in the background if you want, or you don't have to. You could do a cappella, whatever, right? I leave that to you.
I've got a thought.
Okay, looks like we got some homework for next week. Kaz, I hope you're listening to this podcast, so you're ready. I know she's a little under weather, so if we have to push it back another week, because if it's hard for her to sing or whatever, understandable. Okay, well, that is for our comments. That is for our episode. Thanks all for joining in. Hope you're all doing well, and we wish Kaz a speedy recovery. Hopefully, we'll have her back for Kaz Corner next week. But we'll have some jingles for you all too, maybe. Let us know what you think. I think that would be honestly pretty dope. But I think we can't. I know we like promote our podcast on X and stuff, and we put clips. I just asked that whoever's making the clip for that week to not actually clip all four of our jingles and post online, because I don't know if I want people to see that without actually going to the episode. That's a little too much. We can still do the poll, but that's a little too much to ask, I think. So
at least give us some views. Come on now.
It could, but I don't know if I'm down for that much cringe, but I don't know. We'll think on it. Anyway.
All right, we don't have to clip all four of them. We'll just clip only Caleb's. No,
too much here. Actually, you know what we should do? We should all have the jingle, and we post it at the same time, and then we listen to it for the first time together on the podcast, rather than you know what I mean? Rather than we post ahead of time, we all listen to it and then we play it for the audience. Because then I think their live reaction would be pretty dope too. It'll take a little second for me to edit that, but I think it'll be worth the time. Anyway, thanks all for tuning in, and we'll catch you all next week on episode 88. Peace out.
Hang on, wait 3 seconds. Tristen.
Bye.